Hello, everyone. I just want to wish you a good day, a good morning, or even a good evening to wherever it is that you're plugging into. And thank you for joining Railbookers as we're going to really discuss about escaping the crowds and 7 destinations to go on really getting off of the beaten path. Now, as many of you are still plugging in, I do want to be able to introduce myself. My name is Baltazar Lopez, and I'm one of the business development executives here with Railbookers, and I'll be your host for today. Now, we're going to take some time explaining really who we are. What is it that we do? And of course, some of our top selling vacation packages. But more importantly, I'll even discuss some of the advantages that you have by booking through Railbookers, which isn't available anywhere else in the marketplace today. Now, feel free to download our own free handouts here on the side, one of which even includes a rail system map of the European location. So feel free to download those throughout the presentation. And if you have any questions during any part of this presentation, please input them into the question box, and I'll be more than happy to provide an answer towards the end of the session. This presentation may be more or less 30 minutes, just depending on the amount of questions that we receive towards the end. So I want to welcome everyone again for any new plugins coming in. As I do see the number continue to rise, which I want to welcome everyone again. But I want to make sure we're all on the same page as in who are we? And Yankee Holidays was actually our first brand, and that was established about 48 years ago in 1972. Now in 2007, Yankee Leisure Group was formed as we began managing multiple brands. Today, we now have three distinct brands: Amtrak Vacations, Yankee Holidays, and Railbookers. And you can kind of view it more where Yankee Holidays specializes in the US with getaways and national park trips, where Amtrak Vacations is the same US journeys with the rail system, and then Railbookers is everything internationally, which we're going to focus on today. Now, why do travelers love Railbookers? Well, I'm going to hit on a lot of these main points, but first off, our average hold time is only 3 seconds, where when you contact us, you immediately get to one of our consultants versus needing to wait on hold or listen to an automated message. Now, bucket list experiences, where when it comes down to it, there's something old school and charming about riding trains. Between the food car, the conductor, the world flying right outside of your own window, it brings a nostalgic appeal to train travel. On top of that, if you have any kind of special occasions that may be occurring, maybe you're having a honeymoon, or maybe it's a birthday, or maybe it's a proposal, anything along those sorts, feel free to let us know because we always want to play a bigger part. We've helped others get proposed, and maybe it's going to what's the right tour, what's the right activity to do so. Our team is more than happy to prep that for you. Freedom and flexibility. So whenever you are riding on the train or you're taking a vacation, you don't have to worry about being confined to a seat like a bus or a plane. You can feel, roam around as much as you like. And it's the most scenic way to travel by taking the train. As you're maybe in a car rental or a tour bus, you're on paved roads, which is nice, but you see things from a distance. Even when it comes to cruises, like you're following a strip of water, but you see some incredible sights, but why not be in the heart of the action? Where the trains, they go on tracks through the terrain. You're seeing snow-capped mountain peaks, lush forests, unique terrain going over bridges and viaducts, and even through tunnels. You're going to forget you're actually taking a transportation to your next destination. It's going to feel more like a scenic route for yourself. Now, when it comes to our booking window, we can actually make reservations up to 24 months in advance, and all we need in order to book a trip is a deposit, and you can pay the balance later, typically about 3 months prior to departure. And you can choose your own accommodations. We range from 3, 4, and 5-star properties in all of our tours, and all of our itineraries are completely customizable, which you'll see where no matter what vacation we go over today, you can change the hotel properties, the tours, activities, even upgrade yourself on certain classes on the train. We have something for everyone. Now, here's a huge thing. We offer 24-hour support from all of our global offices. So I'm actually speaking to everyone here from Laguna Hills, California. Now, what I would love to know is where is everyone plugging into? Feel free to put in the question box where your hometown is. Where are you currently located where you're plugging in? I always find it fascinating. On the last session I was doing, there was someone plugging in from Singapore. So again, it's very nice to be able to see so many new faces. I could already see a whole bunch of comments being put in now. So again, everyone just plug in where your home location is, and that's awesome that we can all do this together. And so Laguna Hills, California is where I'm coming from. We have an office in Toronto in Canada, Beverly Hills, Massachusetts, or Beverly, Massachusetts, London in the UK, and even Sydney, Australia. And so it's very exciting, and I'm glad that we're all able to plug in thanks to just a unique time that we're in where we can do everything virtually. And I see we have Ohio in the house, Minnesota, Illinois. Okay, I see right here Virginia, California, and even Canada as well. So I want to welcome everyone. I see more and more going in there. So again, welcome everyone for joining us. Now, here's something I want to share with everyone. This is our maximum flexibility offer. Very exciting. I know that we have a lot of travelers where they want to still travel, but the only question that they have is, even though they want to travel, they're having a few restrictions because we don't know what's going to happen in the near future. Like, is there going to still be a lockdown? Should you make a reservation? And so this is what we created. For any existing reservations or new reservations by July 31st, if you book a trip with Railbookers, if for some reason the lockdown's extended or that is still not a good place to travel to, as long as we have 5 days before departure, you can actually change or cancel the location without facing any kind of fees. So that means if you book a trip to Italy and for some reason there may be a new lockdown that's applied over there on the date of your trip, well then as long as we have 5 days, you can actually choose to extend your journey to a later date or just relocate it to a completely different destination without facing any kind of fees to do so. Again, this is only for any reservations that are already booked or that are booked by July 31st. So really take advantage of this because you just feel at ease knowing you can book a trip. Now, we also want to take the mystery out of rail travel itself. Many of you probably have looked into the rail systems in Europe, but all of these colors here on this map represents all the different rail systems currently operating in the European area, and none of them talk to each other. But with Railbookers, we actually have direct contracts with all of them, which is why we can put together any kind of journey, no matter where you want to begin and end at. And this is huge. Thanks to our insider access, we can actually make rail reservations up to 24 months in advance, including the pricing and the schedules of the rail. So whenever you want to take the Trenitalia train system, Renfe, Deutsche Bahn, Eurostar, or even Amtrak and Via Rail, or even special partners like the Rocky Mountaineer in Canada, no matter which rail systems you're looking at, we can book up to 2 years in advance. Now, how are the European rail operators maintaining a safe environment? I'm sure this is many questions that are probably running through the heads of all of us of how are they implementing throughout this time. Now, it's very great because since the entire pandemic, they've have actually still been operating the train systems because they follow the CDC guidelines. So first off, requiring facial coverings for passengers as well as staff. They are stopping the sale of food and drinks on board trains, which is completely fine because they're high-speed trains in Europe. So it's not so much where you're not going to have any meals for hours at a time. It just takes maybe in some of the longer distance trains, just maybe an hour to 2 hours just to get to your next hotel. And they're changing the seat configurations in order to allow more travelers to be able to enjoy the train without being side by side with so many people. They're increasing the cleaning and sanitation protocol, where they clean the handrail systems at the train station as well as the rails within the train itself every hour to 30 minutes. And also contactless ticket control in order to avoid as much hand-to-hand contact that's more than necessary. Now, what does Railbookers offer? Because I can understand the common misconception is that we just book train trips, but it's much more than that. Yes, we do book confirmed seat reservations, but we also book the sightseeing activities, hotels from 3, 4, and 5-star properties, ferries to be able to go to more desired locations over waters, excursions, and even overnight rail journeys. Basically, we're a one-stop shop for the entire land portion of your vacation package, where instead of contacting all the individual activities, just give us a call and we'll put the whole entire package together. Now, 2 days to 2 years. This is our booking window. Yes, we can book up to 24 months in advance, but maybe you're looking at a trip in a week. Maybe you want to be able to travel to the national parks in the US or go over to Canada or even go over to Europe. Well, we can book trips up to 2 days to 2 years. Now, rail travel is a little bit different when it comes to the European area, as there's so many different connections, different trains, and they all have their own standards. But there is a rule of thumb where I want to give you what you really need to know. Out of all the train systems, typically they have two classes, a standard class and a first class. Standard class is typically going to be 2 by 2 seating. as in 2 seats on the left, 2 seats on the right. Where you place your luggage is going to be overhead, and there's space at the end of the car. And it's very comfortable, very nice. These are high-speed trains. But when you upgrade to first class, now it's 2-by-1 seating. So 2 seats on the left, 1 seat on the right. And now you have much more space in the aisleway. It's a little more quieter, more space for your luggage overhead and at the end of the car. And what I would always recommend is at least get a quote for first class, as it pretty much separates you from the commuters, where the commuters are just taking standard. When you go with the vacation travelers, they're typically riding first. And in some cases, it's only an extra few dollars in order to upgrade, just depending on the date and time and location that you're traveling. So our team can quote any one of the classes, but that's the main gist of what you really need to know with the rail. Now, we also know because we go. Our team has been to all of these destinations. So if you want to go to Rome, you want to go to Switzerland, Barcelona, Venice, Canada, Alaska, or even the national parks itself in the US, just give our team a call because we have someone in the office who has been there and they can really give you the first-hand experience of what to expect and give you recommendations in order to make sure you're making the most out of your vacation trip. So I'm going to go into the vacation packages themselves. And I understand the first thought is, what do we mean about off the beaten path, off of the traditional journeys? And what we're going to go over today are vacation packages that we're seeing a lot of demand with all of our clients, but they're really just smaller, charming towns. You're avoiding tourist hotspots, but they're equally as scenic. Not only that, but these locations should be tourist hotspot locations, but they're just so neighboring to the major cities where they can easily be overlooked. But this is our Denali Express with Alaska Railroad. We understand a lot of travelers wanted to go over to Alaska. Exactly 1.4 million travelers were actually already set to go to Alaska, but due to the cruises, they were unable to. Where this journey allows you to explore Alaska on the rail system. It's a 6-day tour, only starting from $1,349. There's 3 nights in Anchorage, as well as 2 nights in Denali National Park. Now, we include the rail system, of course, and the hotels, tours, and activities. And Denali National Park is incredible in itself. It feels as if it's untouched by mankind, but it's a national park of ours. And so we can take you on a full day excursion to see all the major hotspots within this location. Now, not only that, but the Alaska Railroad system is something to really see, and you can only really enjoy it by experiencing it. It's the Denali Rail system, and this is your transportation train. But as you can see, this is not just any transportation. You're going to go over bridges, over viaducts, seeing raging waters alongside the train, which again, you have beautiful panoramic windows to see. And we already included adventure class with the vacation package. Now, our complete Scotland by rail. This is a 9-day tour, only starting from $2,399. This is going to be including the hotels, which are in all of these locations. This journey is going to begin in Edinburgh. So you'll go for 4 nights. You'll head over to Inverness for 3 nights by train. Then you're going to head over to have day trips in Isle of Skye, Fort William. You're going to stay 1 night in Glencoe, and then end in Edinburgh. Now, with all of this included, we have a skip of the line pass for you to visit Edinburgh Castle. Now, a skip of the line pass, my first experience was, okay, I guess it's just a skip of the line pass. How beneficial is that? But when our team actually arrived to these destinations, they saw that there were lines stretching for 1, 2, 3, and even 4 hours long just to go into the castle itself. Where with this pass, we were able to just show up and immediately begin the tour upon arrival. So you're going to see some incredible sights and make the most out of your time there so you can see much more locations versus just being in line. So that's already included. The hop on, hop off sightseeing tour in London. You'll probably hear this a few times in our trips, where the hop on, hop off pass is a trolley or a bus that takes you through the major sites within the city, sites that you're expecting to go see, but as well as sites that you probably were unaware that they're extremely popular. Then you can actually get off at any one of those stops to do your own exploring, and you can just get back on and continue the tour where you left off. It's basically your transportation tour guide all in one. Now, on the same vacation, you have the Isle of Skye day trip included, which is an incredible sight to see, a full day trip to see all the major landscapes, and the Jacobite steam train. This is one of the excursions that you'll be taking, and if we have any Harry Potter fans that's plugging in, that is the same train system that was in the film with all the Harry Potter movies, the steam train going over the viaduct as it turns into the castle. So this is just a great sight to see. If you've seen Harry Potter, you've seen indoors inside the train. This is the same structure. Now, as we're in between our packages, what does it mean for a customized trip? Well, what it means is when you see these journeys, if you want to add any destinations, maybe turn it into a round trip or book a trip in reverse, we can do all of that. Where if it's round trip, we can add a train connection back to where you started. If you want to visit more cities, we can add them into the trip. And if you want to just, if you see a vacation package where you love the direction it's going, but you want to flip it to line it up with maybe a pre or post cruise trip, we can do that as well. We can upgrade you to first class. We can add sightseeing tours and even upgrade you to private tours where you have your own full day excursion to see major sites, or we can keep the sightseeing tours as is. So you still have the freedom and flexibility to do what you want on the day with access to the museums and attractions and even cooking classes. Now, Dublin, Cork, Killarney, and Galway, a 10-day tour only starting from $1,149. We include the standard class on the rail, as well as many activities, but this journey begins and ends in Dublin. You'll have 3 nights in Dublin overall. You'll head to Galway for 2 nights, 2 nights in Killarney, and 2 in Cork to then end in Dublin. Again, this package is only $1,149. We include the hop on hop off sightseeing tour of Dublin to see all the major sites in Dublin and the Guinness storehouse as well, which is pretty incredible. Our team went over to the storehouse, and for I believe $20 or so, they were able to get their photo face engrafted into the foam of the draft beer. So again, it's something to be able to experience. It may be for some people, maybe for everyone, or it may not be for someone, but this is an attraction already included in the journey. Now, a full day tour of the Ring of Kerry, which you're going to see incredible landscapes there, a lot of naturistic backgrounds, and a full day excursion. I'm referring to a 6-8 hour tour to see all these major sites, and a day trip to the Cliffs of Moher, where it's been in many different films, cliffs hundreds of feet high, and it's always an incredible landscape to see. Now, Côte d'Azur is a pretty incredible journey. This is a France vacation journey, again, off of the beaten path. It's going to go over to Nice and Cannes. It's a 7-day tour only starting from $349. A great vacation, a week-long journey for anyone who wants to experience France. We include the rail travel, also the day trips to Monaco, as well as the guided tour, as you see here. So it's a real waterfront experience when it comes to France itself. Now, we also want to share with you the Polish Explorer, a 10-day tour, and it's only starting from $449. I actually had a few questions in our last presentation on this specific package where all of our clients and travelers were actually asking, are you sure it's $400? Because that's incredible. And yes, this vacation package is 10 days, 9 meals included, only starting from $449. We include the first class rail travel within Poland on all the rail connections, half-day guided tour from Krakow to Auschwitz, the Auschwitz Museum, the Warsaw half-day city sightseeing tour, and there's, of course, delicious Warsaw food tour that's already included. This is basically going to see the most just in Poland. Now, as you see here, it's incredible, especially Krakow. And one thing that my team member did share with me going into this location is the main highlights when it comes to Poland is the food, their old towns, and not only that, but the US dollar is actually much, much stronger, where they were able to get a 3-course dinner that's equivalent to about $7. So over here in Poland, you can have a 3-course dinner, even much more, for the same price that maybe a fast food cheeseburger with medium fries would cost. So it's an incredible thing to be able to enjoy. You can take the entire family and maybe even recommend it to a lot of your friends who would want to join with you. Now you can choose properties from 3, 4, and 5-star properties. We have waterfront properties, right in the center of the city properties, even right in the town square properties as well. And this is across all of our journeys, even the lodges when it comes to national parks. So to start turning around, why even take the train in the first place? Well, when it comes down to it, trains are just all around a better experience. I'm sure as well as you probably have taken flights, you've taken tour buses, even car rentals, and they're all great transportation experiences. However, when you're looking at a vacation, you don't want just a transportation vehicle. You want something that you're going to really want to experience. When I'm riding on a tour bus, it's very nice, but seats are comfortable, but I share my little TV screen. I typically have to fight over the air conditioning. I awkwardly make eye contact with the rearview mirror of the driver, and then no one really wants to use the restroom at the end of the bus, and I'm pretty much stuck in my seat for the entire journey. Where when it comes to the train, yes, you are going from point A to point B, but someone else is doing the driving on tracks, so you're actually seeing panoramic windows to see all the crazy terrain that's out there. You have meals included. You're able to enjoy with the other travelers. You can go to the observation car where they have dome cars to experience more of the viewing with seats that face out the window. You have lounge areas, dining cars. You have your own private quarters if you upgrade to your own private room with your own private window and your own bed as well. So again, taking the train is all around better experience. Even when it comes to flights, most people maybe they don't want to fly, or the ones that do fly. Once I'm in the sky, all the clouds look the same. I can't tell if I'm in Europe or if I'm in the U.S. because when it comes to the flights, everything looks the same, just maybe different terrain from the high mountain peaks. But when you're in the land and you're going through the mountains, you're never going to forget that experience. You're actually going to forget that you're actually taking a transportation vehicle. Now, which destination are you more currently interested in? What's your bucket list experience? What are a few sites that you've been wanting to see? Maybe it's something I went over today, or maybe it's something more specific. Maybe you want to see Venice, Florence, and Rome, more the Switzerland area. Feel free to put that into the question box. I would love to see everyone's answers. Maybe it's Scandinavia, maybe it's Canadian Rockies, maybe you want to go over to Fairbanks in Alaska to see the Northern Lights, or maybe you want to see the Northern Lights from Norway. Again, everything that we offer, but I would love to hear your answers and maybe when it is that you're looking at traveling. And while you're putting those answers in, here's a few customer testimonials that I'm not going to read word for word. I'll allow you to do that. But the common similarity, the common denominator that I see is that convenience and one-stop shop where it's extremely easy just to pick up the phone, give us a call, and in 5 seconds, you're already getting quotes, a live quote that of your whole entire journey. And it will be emailed directly over to you so you can have all the exact information of the hotels you'll stay in, the tours, activity, and the experience you're going to enjoy. Then one-stop shopping, where instead of contacting the hotels and seeing if the rail connections work and only getting quotes about 3 months out, just give us a call. We can put that whole package together and we can quote it up to 24 months out if need be. And just to recap, why travelers love Railbookers is our hold time's only 3 seconds. Give us a call, you'll reach a live consultant. Bucket list experiences, especially for special occasions, so you can really make a memorable moment. Speak to our team. We can always recommend maybe they could add in a wine bottle in the hotel, chocolates on the pillow. So you're taking a trip, and then if something's occurring on your tour, maybe you're going on a little river cruise in Paris, which we include in our vacation package, you can do that. We can just do the best we can to make it the most memorable experience. Freedom and flexibility, you're not confined to a seat like a bus or a plane. You can actually roam around the train. The most scenic way to travel to be right in the heart of the action. You can book up to 24 months in advance or 2 days in advance. You can deposit now and you do not have to pay the entire balance right away. You can pay it 3 months prior to departure and you can choose your own accommodations where you're not stuck with just two properties. We have thousands of properties you can pick and choose from. And all of our itineraries are completely customizable. Where if you want to break anything down, if you need to fit it in a work schedule, or if you want to make sure it's within a budget so you can take your whole family, speak to our consultants and we can work with you on that. Now, again, don't forget our maximum flexibility offer. You can actually make a reservation and not have to worry about what's going to happen in the world as you can plan your trip, get ready to go, and if for some reason you need to change or cancel a journey, you will not incur any kind of fees to do so. But this only qualifies for reservations that are booked by July 31st. But no need to wait till July 31st because the vacation packages are more cost efficient the more that there's availability. And we're seeing so much demand thanks to this flexibility offer where the less availability, the higher the prices are, not by us, but by the hotels and the rail themselves. Now, I'm not going to stay on the slide too long, but these are our recent awards and recognition. We've been featured on Forbes, Wheel of Fortune, Afar, USA Today, Travel Weekly, and Travel Leisure, and all of our other awards that we received, but we're just glad we can continue to provide excellent service to all of our clients. And our website is extremely easy to navigate. Just go to railbookers.com. You can go on trip planning, request a quote. You can see all of our vacation packages, or at least most of them. And if you, maybe if you want to get a live quote or book a trip, you are unable to do that online. You actually need to call in, and calling in, you'll reach our consultants immediately. But better yet, if you actually have a travel agent you're already working with, or you know of a local travel agency in your area, I recommend reaching out to them first because they can actually be the ones to work with us with our system, and we can put together your vacation trip so you don't need to do any of the back and forth. So that's what I would recommend is the best thing to do. Just reach out to your local travel agency or someone you're currently working with, and then we'll build your package from there. But if you want to get the direct answer immediately, feel free to give us a call. Now, we do have these brochures available online, so if anyone would like access to these brochures, feel free to reach out to us. We have our Railbookers brochure, which shows all of our independent vacations, well, as much as we can fit in a brochure. Our Via Rail vacations is specifically our Canadian journeys. So if you want to go through the Canadian Rockies, you want to go coast to coast. Our Eurostar vacations show our European journeys, and our Trenitalia vacations is specifically on Italy itself. And our upcoming webinars. So we have webinars coming up on the latest and up-to-date information. We have top 5 destinations to consider for your next special occasion. We're going to share that one on the 9th and the 11th, so you only really need to plug into one of those days. And on June 10th, we have our coast-to-coast rail vacations with Amtrak Vacations. So if you want to know what it looks like to take a coast-to-coast vacation where you sleep overnight on the train, maybe in the US as well as in Canada, then you want to make sure you plug into these webinars. Now, you should receive an email if you registered for this webinar. You should receive another email about these upcoming ones. But if you would want to make sure that you're plugged in, feel free to put in the question bar that you would like access to next webinars, and let me know which time you would prefer, whether it's 7 o'clock, 11, or 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and then I can take care of that for you to guarantee that you have a seat in that presentation. Now, don't forget, download our free handouts and the rail map right here on the sidebar. And if you have any questions, now is the time to put them in the question box, as I'll be more than happy to provide an answer now. So I'm going to pull up the questions now. And again, if you have any kind of questions, feel free to throw it in there. And Janet, I love your comment about just all the vacations you want to take. And that's, I'm glad that you see that, because again, the whole purpose is for us to be able to go travel, go experience, dream build a little bit. And so I always love to know that it's not so much of that we can, it's just we want to make it happen, so let's make it happen. Now, is there any kind of questions in regards to anything I went over that I can go into a little bit more detail on? Feel free to put that into the question box. Okay, I see a question here is, can I adjust the Alaska vacation where there's 1 night in Anchorage and 2 nights in Denali National Park? And yes, we could do that. So if you want to remove nights on a tour, that's not a problem. And usually that happens if someone wants to, fit it in a time schedule. Maybe yourself, you don't have a week-long time frame. Maybe you only have 4 or 5 days. Well, then we can fit in that time period. Now, we will give our recommendations where, like you said, 2 nights in the Denali National Park. We highly recommend at least having those 2 nights, because the other day upon arrival is pretty much checking into your hotel, visiting the town or the national park. But if you want to continue on to the tour, then you want to have a full day there just to be able to experience the tour. And Jerry, great question. So any rail trips in Australia? Yes, we do have rail trips in Australia, as well as the luxury trains like the Gone in Australia. So if you want to get more information on what those tours look like or the different sites you'll see, or even get a quote on it, feel free to give our team a call. But yes, we have vacation trips in Australia who can help you with that. Okay, I see Jennifer's asking about the deposit, how much that would be. So as long as the vacations that are being booked or being deposited on are outside of 90 days, as in we have a 3-month gap before then all we need is the deposit, and the deposit's $250 per passenger, and you will be locked in and set for your vacation trip. And you do not need to make any kind of payments. We do not require monthly payments. You do not have to put in any money until the 90-day mark before departure. So it's very exciting. If you book 2 years in advance, you don't have to worry about any kind of payments except the deposit. And if you'd like, you can always call in with your reservation number and make payments along the way, but you do not need to. Karen, great question. Is the deposit refundable? So it's a little unique because of our current promotion that we currently having. So typically the deposit is not refundable. When you book a trip, your deposit is set and locked in, so you're set to go for your entire journey. You don't have to worry about prices changing or things like that. Um, but we would keep the deposit if you would need to cancel. So we also offer our trip protection. Now that's completely up to you whether you would like the trip protection or not. But that allows you to cancel your trip up to 1 business day prior to departure. So then you can get a full refund, and we would only keep the cost of the trip protection. Now, during the current pandemic with our flexible booking policy, if for some reason you need to cancel or change things, what I believe is occurring is that with the trip protection or with not the trip protection, as long as we have 5 days before departure, that deposit can just be redirected into a later journey that you want to take, or even redirected to a different location. So you still have the deposit, but it's in a form of a future travel voucher. So that is thanks to our new flexible booking policy. That's how you don't lose any money. You just redirect it to a different trip and or a later date. But great questions. Now, are there any other questions that I could help out with? What is the minimum requirements for Railbookers trip? So all you need in order to qualify for one of our journeys is at least one hotel night and one rail connection. And the rail connection can be a 12-minute rail connection, it can be anything. But that, as long as we have those two components, you have access to all of our resources. Now, typically we get questions about booking the entire journey as like a one-stop shop. So that's what we specialize in. But if you need to fit it with another trip you're already doing, like a pre or post activity, then all we need is one rail and one hotel night. And a good question here. So can I book online? And I know you are unable to book online. It's always going to be by calling in, which again, all you would have to do is wait on hold for 3 seconds. Perfect. I want to thank everyone again for joining us with Railbookers. And what I want to share with you is when you're ready, we're ready. We're ready. Our team was able to prepare before lockdowns were enforced. We were able to prepare to be all home based. So we're all here very excited to help you on your next reservation to be able to take you to all the locations that are on your bucket list so you can start scratching off that map. So thank you again for joining Railbookers. I hope everything goes well. I hope you're safe. Stay safe, and then we look forward to putting together your next vacation trip. Hope you have a great day. This is Baltazar with Railbookers.